At the beginning of the year, I made a list of my 50 favorite villain songs. Everyone agreed with it. I had a lot of fun making the video though. There's just one problem. 50 isn't enough. I thought of more songs I missed, forgot, liked but couldn't include, or just didn't exist when I made it. So I decided to return to this topic and give out 31 more villain songs. Same rules as last time. I'm also going to throw in that the song must be sung by a character in universe. That was like an unwritten rule, but now it's official, so frick you. Also, the one per franchise rule applies to this list only.
I'm also an idiot and forgot to mention that a playlist including every song in this video will be in the description. This is now my canon post-recording voice.
So that just leaves one question. Why is this a top 31 instead of top 30? Because I didn't want to be called a Shay Phillips knockoff. Here's the list. I'm gonna be honest. I think Great Money Poo is overrated. Yes, I am gonna call Little Poop overrated. Shut up. I feel like they tried way too hard to make this scene funny. With that being said, taking me out of it, I do like that the song is a part of the actual fight. When he sings the parts, it reveals his weak points. Also, the song itself is fine enough, even if it's more overrated than Heckfire. I still like it though, so it still makes the list. Also, I feel like if I made a little video including 81 different villain songs, and I didn't include this, I would just get murdered. Are you upset that I put Soprano too low? Do you want to be? I stand by the Donkey Kong Country cartoon being really funny, mostly unintentionally. And I highlighted Scurvy last time, so this time, let's give the king a shot. Some songs here I find legitimately good. Diddy Drop Rap is not one of those songs, but it's funny. The rapping is cringy, but gosh dang is it catchy. And you have two actually unironically really good singers on here, being Donkey Kong and K. Rool. So it's a fun time. They should have dropped Diddy Kong though. He's almost as annoying as I am. Almost. OK KO doesn't have many villain songs, but whenever they do, they're usually pretty fun. All I ever needed was this is about Lord Boxman having a midlife crisis of whether he should move on with his life or continue being an evil robot building dictator. And people say cartoons aren't relatable. Boxman doesn't seem like he's the singing type, but he surprisingly sounds pretty great here. And KO's trademark expressive expressions are great as always. Also, it has this scene. Any fan of Scott Pilgrim can tell you that Scott himself is kind of a messed up person. He's not a villain, he's just a bit of a self-absorbed jerk, which tends to frick up his romantic relationships. No one really calls him out on that though, until we get to Ramona's third ex, the vegan dude, and more notably, his girlfriend and Scott's ex, Envy. Black Sheep is both a villain song and a song calling Scott out. And throughout the entire song, Envy looks directly at him and the lyrics are pretty obviously about her being bitter about the breakup. It's this kick Scott really needed to hear. And it's just a great song in general. I could honestly imagine hearing this on like the radio or something. Just to know that this diss track is basically ignored by the end since Scott learns nothing and we're all good. What is the most despicable thing you can imagine? From my man-child brain, it's canceling Christmas. No more toy makers to the king is proof of this. The villain with the single greatest name of all time, Burgermeister Meisterburger, lays out his plan pretty understandably. Regan Bass isn't well known for great animation, but I think the brutal murder of toys here is quite well done. And paired with this very cheery beat, it's pretty good. Even for the most evil character on this list. I mean, if toys were illegal, how else would I get in depth? You know, maybe he was right. Beardgus is one of Disney's greatest songs. There's just one problem. It needs more animal cruelty. See My Vest is Mr. Burns bragging about his impressive collection of dead animals. Disney parodies are a dime dozen now, but when this aired, it wasn't as prevalent. The novelty is what really puts it here. That might kind of sick humor. My only question, why did they make a Disney parody on taxidermy and not make it on Cruella? That seems like a more fitting choice. Also, insert joke about Disney owning Simpsons here. So a lot of the songs on this list, both before this point and after, are pretty jokey. And I do feel like we should really talk about something a bit more serious. We should really dive into the deep psychological aspects of these characters. So, this one might get a bit intense. This is one of the darkest things I ever talked about. So just prepare yourself for the just utterly twisted moral compass. There's no morals here actually. Just prepare yourself for what we're going to experience. This might be the darkest thing I ever talked about.
Happy birthday to you.
No!
My video for you! While nowhere near as memed as We Are Number One, You Are a Pirate is still an extremely enjoyable song. I've talked about pirate songs before, and this might be the best. Maybe, I don't know, there's a lot of good pirate songs. I love the nautical yet poppy beat, I love Robbie randomly talking to his parrot, and of course, I love Robbie in general. Rest in peace, you beautiful man. Powerpuff Girls is one of the few series that can rival Marvel and DC in the strength of its villain roster. They've got a lot of iconic baddies. Townsvilles going down is a good way to incorporate some of the biggest ones. Mojo, him, Fuzzy Lumpkins, Princess, Ace, Bossman, and randomly for no reason to do so at the end. They're all here and they take over the town. Townsvilles going Downsville is just fun because it's just all the villains just casually murdering people, but because they're never shown murdering people, it's perfectly fine. Only downside here is that a lot of the voice actors in this aren't really good singers. Fuzzy is great. This is Jim Cummings' 5th appearance on these lists after all. And surprisingly, him's voice really translates well as singing, but other ones like Mojo and Princess are a bit rocky. Also, why is the talking dog here? Other Friends is on the last list and I stand by that. But that's not the only Steven Universe song that qualifies. What's the Use in Feeling Blue, why are the titles so long in this video, is about Yellow Diamond and her 2 pearls trying to cheer up Blue. What's the Use in Feeling Blue, which feels like a weird question to ask when you're literally talking to someone called Blue, is interesting because the beat itself is very intense, while Yellow's singing seems very conflicted and shaky, which also applies to her overall animation here. I love this. It really feels like she's conflicted on everything herself. And it raises a question on if she's really confident in what she's saying, or if she's just trying to make Blue feel better. This also kind of leads into the whole thing about the 2 clearly being redeemed. And I'd rather debate religion, politics, and Goku vs. Superman all at the same time than debate that. But for the song on its own, it's not worth fading Blue over.
There are too many minorities at my water park. This was our land.
How do I talk about this song without being cancelled on Twitter? I've never seen The Lion Guard, but I swear the song never left my head since I first heard it. It's about this hyena, definitely not bonsai, giving his particular plan to overthrow the lions. Literally just attacking them when they're sleeping. Took him 30 years to think of that. So the plan sucks, the song's sketchy, and I enjoy that they change the visuals for certain scenes. Most villain songs are the villains T-posing on their protagonists. Why not have a song where they instead assert dominance on their henchmen? I'm number 1 as that. Constantine is talking down Dominic throughout the song, even dancing on his head with his succulent frog feet. I should move on to the next segment. It's Tim Curry as a penguin. I don't gotta explain frick to you. My girlfriend made me, okay? This Day Arya, taking her thoughts on the show aside, is actually a really good song. It's sung by Cadence and Chrysalis, but it still counts as an aria since Chrysalis is shapeshifted into Cadence, with the same actress voicing both roles. It's sadly really catchy. I hate my life. Also, fun fact, the song was once sung by Gilbert Godfrey. What? Disney sequels are usually pretty bad. Return of Jafar is not an exception to that rule. But I like this song. Your Only Second Rate is basically an evil version of Friend Like Me, with the same fast-paced and fun creative transformations, just this time, Genie's on the receiving end. The sequel may not be very good, but this song made it all worth it.
My thumb is number 1 on every list.
Oh, I'll be the judge of that, motherfricker. While the Disney Gold and Silver Ages have some of the most well-remembered movies and characters of all time, with a few exceptions, their songs aren't talked about as often. I think it's because they're not as grand as their more modern counterparts, but they're still pretty great. Like this one. What can I say about my 5th pirate song in these lists? I've always liked the pirates dancing around, Huck bonking Smee on the head, the boys literally just steamrolling this one guy, and also like moving on when I can't think of a joke. I've said in the last video that I really love the original Jungle Book. I gave this slot to the remake last time, but the remake sadly didn't include my favorite character in the film, Ka, in anything other than a glorified cameo, so it's the original's time to shine here. Trust in Me may be pretty slow, but it works well for what it is. A hypnotic melody meant to lure you into a false insecurity. It's got its fun charm though. Ka is a joke villain, so never throws away that side of him. Also, I hate the internet. If you're wondering why Remy said that in this segment, keep it that way. Remember that weird period of time where it was legally required for Weird Al to appear once in every cartoon? Oh boy, 3 AM. Time for me to continue being the only person on Earth who knows about Wander Over Yonder. I put I'm the Bad Guy number, I think, 25 on that list. And honestly, I put it way too low. While that's the song that gets all the attention, I do want to highlight the other villain song, Let the Pun Fit the Crime. Sang by the second time Weird Al played a banana, this song is a musical battle of sorts between Wander and Dr. Screwball. Wander plays a banjo and Screwball plays an accordion, and every time they play it, it gets added to the beat. While the visuals may not be as insane as something like You're Only Second Rate, it's got some fun moments. Only problem is, for a song called Let the Pun Fit the Crime, there aren't a lot of puns. False advertising. Don't you just love racist toddlers? Cats Don't Dance is a film no one remembers, but it's actually pretty good. This film was supposed to be an allegory of early Hollywood, and especially on with the main villain's song, Big and Loud. Darla is like every single celebrity ever made. A nice sweet little baby on camera, and a savage, insane lunatic in reality. This takes full advantage of the early Hollywood setting in the film, in both the visuals and the music. It's a bit short, but a great song. Last video is about child murder, this video is about racism. This is why I'm not making any more villain song videos. My insane devotion to the one per franchise rule really does screw over a lot of great songs. It's not just me, despite how beloved Beauty and the Beast is, if it ever appears on a villain song list, it's always Gaston. This is finally Mob Song's time to shine. Gaston has a slow transition into villainy, but this was some moral event horizon. He was always a jerk, but never straight up evil. This is the point where he finally shows his true colors. And that it's surprisingly pretty catchy, and while it may not be anywhere as good as Gaston, I still really enjoy it. Dentists are freaking scary. This is another victim of one per franchise syndrome. As much as I love Mean Green Mother, Dentists is a fun song as well. There's not much to say here besides just a really fun uplifting song about a sociopath torturing his victims, because that's what dentists do. Dentists are awful, barely even people without any sympathy or morals who only crave destruction and sorrow whenever they go. I have bad experiences with dentists. If there's anything worse than dentists, it's lunch ladies. Codename Kids Next Door likes to sometimes have these weird experimental episodes every once in a while. None of them work as greatly as Operation Sandwich. Having Grandma Stuffins of all characters be the one to have a unique song is interesting, but now that we have it, good choice. Kids Must Eat is not just her, but her food minions singing. They're voiced by the band Grower, and this song is actually a parody of one of theirs. The joke that craftier food is disgusting is kind of overused, but this is one of the best variations of that show. The concoctions they think of are some of the most cool and disgusting things I've seen. Only problem is that this is a really long song, almost the entire episode's length, and more notably it repeats itself a lot, but besides that, it's pretty slamming. David Bowie is one of my favorite musicians of all time. Labyrinth is a fun movie with a ton of strange puppets and good music. Magic Dance is a song by David Bowie where he's magically dancing with a bunch of rejection Muppets. I don't need to explain this. Master of Your Fate is the only lyrical song in the entirety of Teen Titans, and honestly, it's good enough to earn that title. I really enjoy songs where the villain just beats up the heroes, and this one has even better gags than You're Only Second Rate. Mumbo turns the entire scene into a vaudeville romp, complete with spotlights and a big stereo thing from the Family Guy intro. He also shapeshifts and does a lot of other interesting things, like this scene where he plays his nose like SpongeBob does, which may actually be a reference since Tom Kenny does voice both characters. I did not need to see Sexy Mumbo though. From one master to another, this song and the characters singing it that I can't pronounce the last names of aren't that important in Les Mis, but Master of the House is just so much fun. The house runners of the hotel are just such awful people, with them bragging about how much they scam people to the point where Mr. Crab would tell them to stop. And throughout the entire scene, they pickpocket and steal from everyone. They may not be major characters in this, but it wouldn't have it any other way. We now get to the obligatory Phineas and Ferb entry. I picked Tron Life last time, and while I stand by that, it was a hard choice. Doofus Brush has so many great songs, but I talk about Doofus so often on this channel. Let's see what Norm has packing. I really like songs that are upbeat and cheery while the visuals are not that, and I think that's obvious by now. Weaponry is not just that, but it's also a song of Norm dealing with his parents' disapproval of his life choices. I feel that. Honestly, Norm can do anything and I'll enjoy it. Anything. If any song got fricked over by the one per franchise rule of the last video, it's I Want You Gone. This to me is just barely below Still Alive. Portal's consistency of making great music is only rivaled by its consistency of never making a third game. That said though, it's a great cap of the series. Also being pretty emotionless, the level of pure I am so done with all of the stupidity that GLaDOS exudes is just delicious. I don't need to say much here, it's great. You know it's great. So the top 3 of this list are the top 3 because I made a mistake. I really should have included these 3 on the actual top 50. For this one, I do feel like I have reason why it wasn't on the original, and that's because my IQ is too low. Rick and Morty is pretty well known for being weird, but Moon Man is the peak of its trippiness. Fart, yes that is his real name, basically puts Morty into this weird drug trip of dummy fake Mike Wazowski's as he sings this very sweet song about the Moon Men, which we find out later to be carbon-based life forms. We also find out that Fart thinks carbon-based life forms are not based, and he plans on killing anything that fits the description. Upon realizing this makes this song take an entirely different meaning, and that realistic puts it here. Also, we secretly Tom Tella.
Shut the f up about Moon Men!
This is the one I'm still kicking myself over not including. It is just so fun and so listenable that I had to make this video just so I can talk about it. As for why I didn't include it, I guess I just didn't have the brains. Some joke will make sense soon, give me a second. I already mentioned Little Shop here, but I never expect a parody of it to make the list. Brain Software is just that good. This giant brain-eating meteor is singing to the only one immune to his brain eating, Billy, about his plans. You can probably assume what they are from his name. This song is sung by musician Voltaire, who, two fun facts, wrote this song longer than usual because he was paid by how long this song was. I know I complain about Sandwich, but this gets a pass because it's just that good. And two, this dude is actually Voltaire himself. This song is very big-brained. Honorable mention time! I'm gonna throw in as many as I can so I never have to make another one of these videos again. Sky Pirates from DuckTales. Fun pirate song and a good introduction to Dawn. Yodel, Adel, Edel, Idle, Ooh. I don't like this film, but the song is catchy, so yeah. My Town from the Hercules series. Honestly surprised I got James Woods to voice him in the show. Usually celebrities don't come back for shows. It's a slower blues song, which isn't what I expected, but it's fun. Winter Horrorland. Friday Night Funkin' is one of the most recent games everyone loves with until the hits and will then become popular a couple years later. And it has only one careless piece with actual words. Not sure why I decided to give that to Lemon meth addicted brother, but this slaps. Nonetheless, because half of the song is in 3D printer. Any song from Hades Town. I've been told to watch this musical. I haven't. You can sub in most musicals here, honestly. Bad Little Boy from Adventure Time. From back and forth of whether Marshall Lee counts as a villain. Decide he doesn't. Still gets mentioned because Donald Glover. Some song from Central World. It's the final song, I think. It's a spoiler, so I won't say what it is, but it's like the best song in the show, but it's also very short, so yeah. This is how we will end it from Total Drama World Tour. A great duet between two villains that still gets kind of contradicted at the end of the episode. One Way Angel. Doesn't count because of the rules, but my friend Claire bullied me to mention this, so here it goes. Here's the mention. Freak you, Claire. Pretty Bird. A good rap song, but it feels like it's trying way too hard to be cool. Food, Glorious Food from Ice Age 2. The song has just ruined my life. I can't hear the word food without thinking about it. I didn't even know this was from Oliver until semi-recently. Below My Stack from the Looney Tunes show, because the first 2 seconds are capable of sending mortals into alternate realms. Come Railroad Strolls from Over the Garden Wall. Chilling, but too broken up throughout the show for me to include it. Finally, Kidnap Sandy Claus. Catchy, but I always hate that they gave all these clever ideas for capturing Santa, but they just go with a bag. Let's finally end this. So despite what this video may make you think, I am actually proud of the old top 50 villain songs. Yes, I forgot Brains and Moon Man, but you know, I can live with forgetting 1 or 2 songs. What I can't live, though, is forgetting this one. Well, actually, I didn't forget it. It didn't exist. I forgot to write a joke here. The MCU has been kind of slammed for not having the best soundtrack ever, which while I like soundtracks, it's mostly in the moment. I forget them almost immediately after. That is until WandaVision. Who on earth looked at this show and thought, okay, yeah, this is fine, this is great. Let's spit fire. At the end of the 7th episode, it was revealed that the main villain is Agatha Harkness, who's been pulling the strings throughout the whole time. In fact, it was her all along. Oh boy. Parody the freaking monster theme. They break the 4th wall. They go over old scenes from different perspective. They kill a dog. Okay, it's not perfect, but still. I love this song so much. If it existed when I made the first video, it would probably be in the 20s to 15 range. It's great, and is by far the best villain song that was in the first one that I have ever heard. So that is the end of my final villain song video. At the end of the last video, I said if the video ever hit 1 million views, I think, I would cover every song in the list. That'll never happen. Ever. No one watches my videos. I am very bitter. I will destroy you all. This is the start of my villain arc. I can't sing, though. I probably would have tied it all together. Bye.
Doctor Screwball, if you please, I've got an